Hi, welcome to How to Repair. Well, I've actually had to come back to this spot again after yesterday, and that's because I didn't actually have the camera set up in the correct format, so I lost all the footage. This is a stunning road, and you're really going to appreciate me coming back to actually do this for you. It's a long road, and it's a very slow road. So let's get on with the journey. I've just been checking the oil and also the drive shaft coupling, which has got a very small hole in the rubber, but she's throwing out grease. And I found a technique for repairing that on the road. So over the next few days, I will be doing a video on that. But this is an absolutely beautiful road. And I can't believe, well, how good the condition of the road is, but the traffic, as you can see, is, well, we're lucky it's, I think, Wednesday. It's either Tuesday, no, it's Wednesday. The amount of tourism, but when you've got weather like this, you understand why so many people are out having a look around. Now I've got to watch the temperature because the one fault I still got on this van, which I think might be my own fault, is somewhere along the line, when I reassembled the van after rebuilding it, I don't think either I've got the wiring wrong or I haven't connected something on the thermostatic system. Because the fans are not coming on. I wish these people could learn to drive.
You're tuned into the How to Repair radio show. If you're enjoying the drive on this road to repair, hit that subscribe button to join the journey.
But I'll pan round all over the place with the camera for you. This is a great time of year to come here when you have this heat wave that we've got in the UK at the moment. It is absolutely scorching. We're about 30 degrees today in Ireland, and I've basically done two videos already, one on mizzen head and the other was showing you what the roads are like, and now I'm working my way up the Wild Atlantic Way all the way to the top of Ireland, and then I'll be crossing over to Scotland. But you can see how challenging these roads are. Very narrow, and you have to let a lot of people pass, and on occasions you've got to do a bit of reversing. I'm just going to pull over here for a couple of minutes. I need to check something. Okay, I just made sure the camera was on the 360 mode, but I just noticed that I'm by a very nice footpath that goes down to the water there. So while I'm letting the engine have a cool, I thought I'd take you for a quick wander down. I should have worn warm trousers because there's brambles everywhere. But these country roads are not only in great condition, they are absolutely stunning. I just spoke to one of the locals just now who owns a house up here. He's a general builder and everything else, and he was telling me about the houses in the area, and he was telling me some of the ruins go from 40 to 50,000 all the way up to 140,000, depending on the location and who's selling it. But take a look at this. Walk along this headland a little bit. The van behind me. I don't want to go too far from the van. I actually left my laptop on the table, so I'm making sure I can keep an eye on it. Absolutely stunning. Anyway, let's get back to the van and get back to the road trip. Okay, that was a very nice walk. Engine's cooled down a bit, and I'll leave you with some very nice music for the next 10 minutes or so, because this headland is absolutely gorgeous.
You're with Paula on the How to Repair radio show. A big shout out to all the DIYers battling sealed drums this afternoon. Keep fighting the good fight, and here's a lively one to keep you going.
This is most probably a 25 to 30% fall, but worth every minute for the view. It's a crying shame I never brought the bike with me, but that's because I had to leave the motorbike in Faro because I have some 1970s washing machines to pick up when I get to Donegal. I watched someone trying to get round this yesterday. Really, you do need to know your campers with some of these roads. You shouldn't just retire and buy a camper. You should learn how to drive it first, because some people are very poor. I invested a lot of money in camera equipment. I have a drone, I have about 4 or 5 different cameras, tracking cameras, PTZ cameras, the Osmo, the Insta 360 Pro camera, and also the Insta 360 X3, which is a 360 camera. They're all there for different purposes, but I would be very selfish if I didn't record this for you, because if I come all the way out here, it's worth me spending an extra couple of days to make the videos for you, to try and encourage you to look at some of these places around Britain, Ireland, and where I was in Morocco, Spain, Portugal. There are some stunning places, and a lot of people don't actually get the guts to get up and go, and I think they should. Life's about living, not about being in this 9-to-5 regime of work. I know you've got to earn money, but there's a balance in life. Now, I just wanted her to see me. Just letting them know I'm there in case they got headphones in or something like that. gauge climbing, but I do know I've got a decline coming down the hill after. So I don't mind it getting up to 3/4. I have to rectify the problem eventually. But it's a beautiful headland. Now I'm following the headland all the way round. Now last night, if you look all the way up to the top of that lagoon, and I'll point the camera right at the very top there, where the brown fields are, is where I stayed on a beach, and it was absolutely stunning. But it did take me about 30 minutes to find how to get the access down, because it wasn't on the road maps. It was going through a farm, and the locals explained how to get there eventually. It was an open piece of land backing onto the beach, and I parked up next to a very nice Irish gentleman who explained a few bits and pieces about Bantry, and he had a cracking NSU scooter on the back of the camper from 1950s, and that was in mint condition. I imagine they're worth a pretty penny today. I've also got to watch out on some of these trees with the camera, of course. I don't want to go harpooning my camera into a tree. But as I said, I did do this yesterday. Problem being 8 meters, some of these corners do get a little tight. I've had to do a 3-point turn on a couple of occasions to get round the corner. But really speaking, they were roads that I shouldn't have really been on. But everyone is exceedingly courteous, always pulling in, and always got a story to tell or a great bit of advice on where to go. Great local people. Okay, if you'd like to take a look out over the left, as I said, if you look at the brown fields on the headland there, that's where I stayed last night. I'm actually going to turn the camera off now because I know this road is a bit of a boring. It's not boring, it's beautiful, but you don't want to see all that. I'll save it or the footage for when we get to a nice area again with some very scenic routes. Just thought I'd quickly turn the camera on. Although it's not one of the stunning areas, this is back on the main road, and we're heading Bunaw, I think it's pronounced Bunaw. But down there on the left hand side on the shoreline is where I stayed last night, and it was a beautiful spot. But you are going to have to work out how to get there because I'm not going to try and explain it. Now, I'm cutting straight on for the simple reason being is I need to get to do some shopping. And as you know, I run a live stream while I'm doing this trip every day at 5 o'clock now to help people with their appliance problems. So I'd like to get all the shopping done, and be somewhere nice for this evening before the show starts. So I'm missing out a little bit of the wild Atlantic route, but it looks a very flat headland there anyway. Well, I thought I'd turn the camera back on for you, but we've had a mishap. I was hard over and making sure that I was giving plenty of space, and someone came round the corner too fast and has wiped out the bottom half of my mirror on the camera side, which you're on there. So that has caused me a bit of a problem, because that's the one that gives me the spread when I'm looking back reversing. But I have got a reversing camera, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm going to have to see if I can get one ordered and shipped up to my friend's place, Barry in Donegal, because I've got an address for him. So it's going to take me a week to get up there, so I should be able to get one delivered. Lovely house down by the water there. I'm not too sure what this fishing stuff is. Could be mussels. What else could it be? Could be fish pens, but I doubt it very much. I doubt if they're rearing fish in there. I imagine they're mussels. I will have to do a bit of research on that. I noticed a boat back there, and I've seen a few boats in this area with cranes on them. So that tells me that they'd be lifting heavy cable systems or lines, which might be those strings out there, and they could all be mussels or something like that. Okay, we had to pull over for a bit. Well, I'm not going to pass any blame, but sometimes people drive too fast, and I was on my side of the road completely, and a van went past going at quite a pace. They might have been local, but our wing mirrors clipped, and it's blown the bottom half of the glass out on the what would be the English driver's side, which is the closest one to the camera. So I am going to have to get a replacement when I get to Donegal, or possibly a garage. The problem being is it's a curved mirror off an well, I think they're Iveco mirrors. I'm not too sure, but this is a Fiat Ducato, but they do look very similar to the Iveco mirrors. But I should be able to get some type of temporary replacement, and the reason I say that is because these lanes are so narrow. I imagine there's quite a few shopkeepers who are highly intelligent and realise that that is a big market over here. So I imagine that most of the garages will have something. But it does create a bit of a blind spot for me, especially when I'm reversing. I've got a reversing camera, but it does take away what I can see down by the wheels. Anyway, accidents happen. No one was hurt, that's the main thing, and it was just two mirrors passing in the night. Ooh, excuse the pun. feel that ocean breeze now. It's really dipped that temperature nicely down.
Aye, aye. This is the How to Repair radio show. Don't bin it, fix it, and let's get straight into the next track.
Okay, I thought I'd just quickly turn the camera on for you to show you the estuary here. There's been a bit of road works that we've had to go through. And there's been some beautiful houses. Gone a bit overcast. Four-star B&B. It's when you consider what the weather is like at the moment, and you consider that what I saw on the news with the weather and everything, they told us this heat wave was coming. I know the schools are still in, but I really thought there was going to be a lot more tourism than I've seen. Yes, there has been a fair bit of camper traffic and people out for the day on weekends, but it's a lot quieter than I thought. And I really want to put all the camera gear away before I go into the supermarket. But you can see it's all very well signposted. Wild Atlantic Way always shows up. You don't really need any maps or anything else. So I need to find somewhere, Kenmar, to pull over and take all this camera gear off. And I'm doing 40. She chirps up as usual. Okay, done the shopping for the next few days. There's no point buying too much because I intend to eat out on occasions. Just met a cracking gentleman who owns a basically an adventure holiday company, and he gave me some tips on places to go and everything else, and he was amazed that I actually took this thing up the top of the Atlas Mountains because he knew where I had been. But yeah, it is really getting close. The humidity is really kicking in now, but I have to get rid of the wastewater, and I also need to fill up with water. So I'm going into a paid campsite about 37 minutes away, and I need to be reasonably quick because I've got a stream at 5 o'clock. Got to answer some customers' questions and other bits and pieces. next roundabout. But it's gone slightly cloudy and very, very humid. This is much more humid than I'm used to. Like actually staying in Sneem Hotel in motorhome parks. I prefer to be in the wilderness, but you do have stuff to do like grey water, toilet water, and also fill up the water tanks. I can normally survive about 5 days off grid without ever touching any resources. I think we got to do a left here.
Speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour.
I see pubs in the village. That will do me.
Turn right, then your destination will be on.
Using Island Motorhome Park. Okay, I've got to go to Dan Murphy's bar to check in. So you can't get in without going to the bar. Sorry?
How are you?
Very well.
Have you signed it in?
No, I haven't. I just came straight here because I got a show at 5 o'clock.
You've got a what, sorry?
Show. I do a live stream.
Oh, fair play. Yeah, so you're staying the night?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just park up there, just whenever you're done there, just go and sign in at the bar, but there's no panic.
Okay. Well, I'll be definitely going to a bar.
Fine.